You know what you know, man. We are back. This is my first show. If you've been following me since the podcast summit, and man, the show is changing. I got a great guest today. I have a great guest today. Look here, man. If y'all uh, are dealing with grief in your life, or you know somebody that's dealing with grief in their life, go and grab them right now, man, because this lady right here that I got sitting backstage, she will help you out. She will change your life. Hey, man, via know what you know, we are ordinary people with extraordinary stories.
But have you ever thought, what if this is all just a dream? And we're just waiting in line to wake up? And most people think I'm insane. Once you realize that all the shit you used to care so much about just keeps you a prisoner of your own mind.
Yes, yes, yes. You know what you know. We are ordinary people with extraordinary stories. Again, I say, man, if you are dealing with grief or anything, you have lost someone, or we will learn about the various types of grief, not just if you lost someone. Uh, I'll have her on and explain exactly what grief is. But by all means, if you've lost someone in your life, man, and you're dealing and you find it hard to deal with, please check out my guest. Before we do that, man, I got a couple of things to get out the way. My homie, Benika Henderson.
Yo, V and O, what you know? I tell you what I know. Benika Henderson of Heritage Real Estate is the top realtor in the Northwest Indiana region. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or rent, Benika can and will accommodate all of your needs. Give her a call today at 219-525-4018. Also, you can check her out on all major social media platforms. Just search Heritage Real Estate. Please do not sit on this opportunity to work with the best. Contact her today, 219-525-4018.
And you know I gotta rep my guys over at Shop Talk 7, man, and Dope Living TV Live, the big bros and the big sisses, if that's a word. So, man, what you actually, you know what? It's a Tuesday. I'm all out of whack. Usually I do the show on Sunday. We are infringing upon Dope Living TV and Shop Talk 7 right now. All three of us are running live. Don't flip over to them right now. Watch this. Watch this one. So Shop Talk 7, my guys, man, local music from Chicago. If you want to hear some dope local artists, man, tune in to Shop Talk 7. Shy Blizz, My Radio Chicago, man. Y'all download that app. But first, at 7 p.m., you want to flip to Dope Living TV. They start at 7. They go till 8. Shop Talk 7 goes from 7 to 9. So you go from Dope Living over to Shop Talk 7. All on YouTube. Check out Shop Talk 7. Look up Shop Talk 7, Dope Living TV. Also on Facebook, look up Shop Talk 7, Dope Living TV Live. Dope Living TV Live, Greg Gray and the crew, man, they do great interviews. Greg Gray, Marcy, Mo B. Greg is just a great guy, man. And if you feel like you want to live dope, check out Dope Living TV Live. And let me get this out of the way, man. My guy, China, aka Daryl Gilcrease, man, with Mystico Latin Cuisine. I had him on a couple of weeks ago, or about a week ago. And I told him that I was going to do a live tasting of his chili. Check this out. You know what you know. What's up, man? If y'all have watched my show, you know, man, y'all please don't pay attention to my dog. She don't know how to act back here. Please don't pay attention to her. If y'all have watched the show, man, we are ordinary people with extraordinary stories, and I had my man, known to me as China, Daryl Gilcrease from Malibu, California. He is the owner, CEO of Mystico Afro Latin cuisine. And yeah, man, he told me that he was gonna send me this Love Muff chili. Love Muff chili is he was a first place and People's Choice champion in a Malibu chili cook-off. This is also sold in a farmer's market in Malibu, and he said that he was gonna send it to me. And I told him, I said, bro, if you send this to me, I'm gonna do a live tasting of it. So here I am. I heated some up. I haven't tasted it yet. It smells great. uh, I'm trying to be like, that's my guy. Trying to use my guy. I want to be objective about how this tastes. But I love you, man. So if it tastes bad, then I probably won't tell you. I will give you this, man. It smells amazing. I'm not a chili person, but I will tell you that this smells amazing, man. All the way from Malibu, California. I will give you one con. I do not like beans. I don't like beans, but I'm gonna dive in because I mean, Malibu like it. Number one, first place and People's Choice champion in the Malibu cook-off. Malibu like it. They like chili in Malibu. I don't know if they like chili in Malibu. They might not. Maybe they just like this chili. So I'm about to try it right now. Let's see. I see little bits of bacon in it. This is, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Malibu, I understand. Bro, this ain't chili. This ain't just regular chili. This is off the chain. It is. Um, it tastes like it's almost a sweetened barbecue sauce in there. There is meat, it's hearty, and the beans. I don't mind the beans. I could taste the bacon in there. I understand. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. China, you outdid yourself, baby. This is good. This is dinner too. This is good. Y'all, check out his Facebook page, Instagram page. I think if you DM, you can order this. I'm gonna see what I can do, man, to get this in the area, Chicagoland area, because I just got an idea that people will love this. Uh, Love Muff Chili by Mystico Afro Latin Cuisine. That's my man, China Daryl Gilcrease. Bro, this is good. this is this is really good, man. Y'all check this out, man. I said that I was gonna do a live tasting. This is a live tasting for you, a live tape tasting, because I'm gonna run this during the show. But man, gluten free. Y'all check them out right there on Instagram. Mystico Afro Latin Cuisine on Instagram. Let me see. Yeah, right there. Look, man. Bro, this is good. I'm not gonna let y'all watch me eat the rest of this. Being know what you know. We're ordinary people with extraordinary stories, and this is amazing. Chili, Love Muff Chili. Hey man, y'all check out my man Daryl Gilcrease, man. If you want some Love Muff Chili, check him out on Instagram, DM him. And I really do want to take that chili to some store, to some, I don't know, man. I don't know how to do it. He's going to have to tell me how to do it. Just take it and maybe let some people taste it and see if we can get it out here in the shop, man, because Love Muff is off the chain. And now, for my guest, hey,
Greetings.
how's it going?
Excellent. I have no
Okay.
other than the fact I'm hungry and then your promo is like eat chili like how I'm hungry.
I, I had to look. I had to do it. I told him I was going to do it. I told him I was going to replay the show, and I didn't replay the show. So I had to do the tasting. This man sent this chili all the way from Malibu, California, wrapped it up, put it in the box, shipped it to me for free. I paid for the chili, but it was bacon in there. It was man, it was off the chain. I'm sorry for making you hungry. I do want to play this for people just so they know exactly who you are. Miss Kenitra Mozelle.
That is such a vibe. I'm over here like,
So I just want to tell everybody we went to Podcast Summit and you were sitting behind me, and your energy really just I don't know, it just reached up and grabbed me and pulled me around, and I think I said to you, "Who are you?"
it's like I need to know you. I feel like you somebody.
That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said.
Oh my gosh, I was so tickled. I was so tickled. But
Yeah.
it is important when you recognize that there is positive, life giving energy in the space around you. It makes a difference because you know when somebody got low, what they say, low vibrations. You
Yeah,
know,
low vibration. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But I mean,
Mm-mm.
you were in a room full of outstanding people, and you stood out. To me, it was like your spirit just grabbed me. Like you just had this. I don't even know what to call it. It was a positivity. It was something about you. And then we talked about you coming on the show.
Yeah.
I did like a small. I always do like a interview before the interview. I don't even know what you call it. I think they call it.
The
Oh,
discovery call preliminary check in, check up.
thank you. And this is what I do, and I don't even know the name of it. But I did that with you, and you blew my mind. Man, I was about to cry on the phone.
I'm gonna get a
I,
brand deal for tissue.
I was I was in the car, and I was like, "What? What did you just say?" Miss Kenitra, can you introduce yourself to everybody?
I absolutely will. Hey to my GFT family. GFT is definitely in the comments. Shout out to the squad. My name is Kenitra Mozelle, author, speaker, coach. I am the founder of this amazing space called Grace for This. And for the last year and a half, I have been helping women, especially women of faith, take ownership of their wellness journey personally, relationally, and professionally. And grief was my catalyst to the wellness work journey. So I was introduced to widowhood at the age of 36, and it pushed me into wellness in a very, very special way. So I am making it my business and my mission to introduce other people of faith to what the wellness work looks like, to having an honest human experience so that you can actually grow in your relationship with God and your purpose, right? It was a journey for me, and I'm here for the work and helping other people do the work.
Absolutely. You say you were like you just kind of whizzed past it that you were a widow at the age of 36, and I had to put that on the thumbnail because man, wow, like I'm 42 and I recently divorced, but even though we're divorced, if something were to happen to her, I would be broken. if she were to pass. I don't think that we're meant to be together, but I love her and I would absolutely be broken. You were 36 years old and you lost your husband, but you didn't, you didn't tell the whole story because we got questions. we got we got
Yeah.
all kinds of questions. Can you tell everybody a little bit about your husband?
Oh, I enjoy talking about my husband. I have to get in the habit of saying late husband because I'm still a wife and I will be married again. So, you know, people out here sensitive. So I'm learning to call him my late husband, right?
Yes.
Uh, amazing human being. Amazing human being. We encountered each other at the VA hospital. So I'm a registered nurse by trade, event planner by passion, and all of that has rolled over into trauma informed care to building out things and communities and spaces. And so we met each other while I was working at the bedside and beautiful human being. I like people. The same way we got on the phone and started talking, and we're talking back and forth at the summit. Same experience, and so I discovered that he was a amazing person in my peer group. And as a person of faith, grown up in church my whole life, church baby, parents were clergy. And so when I see another person who's a believer in my peer group, I say, oh, well, let me connect you with some of my people so that you can be encouraged and you not be by yourself in your journey. So I began just connecting with the folks, and so he connected and never left. Back when Skype was the thing, we weren't doing FaceTime and all that kind of stuff. He would Skype into our church's Bible studies, and that was how he connected, and he literally just became a part of my family. He became a part of my church family. And so after being really good friends for 5 years, we got married in 2016, and we were married for 5.5 years when he passed away in 2021. So amazing human being, motivated, was in school. I didn't mention, that he was a quadriplegic, right? I don't
Bet.
I don't. And you
Bet.
know what? I don't remember to say it because I did not see the wheelchair. Right?
Yeah.
I did not see the wheelchair. So I was a spinal cord injury nurse. So I worked with spinal cord injured patients. They were in wheelchairs. We would get them cleaned up, get them in their chairs. We helped them with therapy. We helped them process the trauma, interdisciplinary team type situations. So we're working with physical therapists, recreational therapists, the psychologists, the MD, the nurses, the techs. We're just doing all of these things to give these people a new life, a new way to live. Just with some different types of challenges to navigate, but you can still have a fulfilling life. And so he was one of those people who was doing the work to have that fulfilling life. So my husband was a quadriplegic. He was paralyzed from the neck down when I met him. He was still paralyzed from the neck down when we got married.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing
Mm.
changed there.
Mm.
But the love grew bigger. The love grew bigger over time. So yeah.
And I was almost in tears when you told me that because you are an amazing person, and it touched my heart that how you speak of him. But I had questions, and I think one of my main questions was, did you feel, or do you feel, that you were somewhat slighted? I guess slighted by him being, or that you missed out on something
Ooh,
by him being a quadriplegic.
ooh. Let me tell you something. There are perks. We used to get front row everything. Okay. If we was going to the concert, we sat in the front. We came in through a special entrance. They treat you VIP when you come with somebody in a wheelchair.
Right.
So we always had good seats, okay? So when you fit, it just kind of depends on which way you look at it, right?
Mhm.
So there were some perks and some benefits. I see y'all in the comments. Thank y'all. Right. So there were some perks and some benefits, and I enjoyed him having a good time. I enjoyed him having a good experience in the same way he was invested in me having a good experience. But now, real talk, were there things that I missed or things that I felt slighted about? I don't think I felt slighted per se,
Mm.
but things like being held and his embrace, those are things that I think people want to know. How was how are you intimate? Like, how was that experience for you? If your spouse is paralyzed, let me tell you something. Intimacy requires the intention of two people. And when I tell you, I've never met a more intentional person who made sure he knew. Let me tell you something. I knew I was fine because Sir May knew. He made sure that I knew that not only did I have his attention, but I had other people's attention. And he let the other people know whose attention I captured, that yes, you see her, I see her too, and I got her first. Like, he was very, very clear on that. And something that we want in relationships with women is security. We want safety, and we want to know that you love us and that you'll fight for us. And so, paralyzed or not, he made sure that everybody knew I was with him. He made sure that I knew that he loved me. He made sure that he made contact with me, right? So when you talk about intimacy and physical contact, let me tell you, this young man, when he got up in this wheelchair, my husband was 6'4" physically. If he was standing, he was 6'4", tall, dark, and handsome, right? He was brownish, but he suntanned a lot. He was. So I give him tall, dark, and handsome, right? Prayer answer from me. But he will take that wheelchair and run into me because I'm going to touch you some kind of way. And if I can't come and pick you up, I will knock you over. Why? Because I want to be close to you. So I'm going to make sure that you understand, and I'm making it my business to be in your space. Right? So there are ways. If you make up your mind to impact somebody or show them an expression of your love and interest towards them, you will do it. And he did it. He did it.
Uh, Man, and that's where I probably almost lost it at when we were on the phone, because it was so much going through my head. Uh, People say love is a choice, but as I heard you talk, like I realized, like I wanted to kick myself
Mhm.
because you start realizing the error in your ways, and I'll take accountability because at times in my marriage I didn't choose love. I chose anger, not necessarily carried out on her, but just in my heart. You know what I mean? She might have done something to me, whether it was intentional or not, and I didn't choose love. You absolutely chose love in your marriage. The connection where I almost lost it at is when you talked about him just running his wheelchair into you and your perception of that. Uh, you chose love. Were you prepared for him to not live a full life, or to did were you looking for him, like did you know that it might have been close, or that he was going to pass away, or that did he have complications, or
That is a great question. And when I sit with it, right, and shout out to you for your vulnerability, like I appreciate you for you expressing while we're walking through that story. It's important for other men to know that there are men taking ownership of their part of the things they could have done better. So shout out to
yeah,
you. Y'all show him some love in the comments because
thank
me and
you.
know me out here choosing vulnerability all the time, right? So to answer the question, no, I didn't know he was getting ready to go.
Yeah,
I was aware that he was tired,
yeah,
but because his push through was what it was on a daily basis, he had been paralyzed since 2006. I think it was Christmas Eve 2006.
yeah.
So he had been living paralyzed for a hot minute.
Really,
So
yeah.
this was a
2006. Yeah, yeah. You guys
yeah,
got married 2016.
16.
So
Mhm.
he had been paralyzed for 10 years. Uh, how did he deal with it? And because how he dealt with it would also affect your marriage. How did he deal with being paralyzed?
Mhm.
Did he ever show signs of, I think us as men, when we can't provide, however provision might be met, we feel a sense of regret. Sometimes we carry that with us. I know I did, and I still do sometimes. My children are grown up, but at the same time, I still like, man, I think back. I know I can't change anything, but I'm like, man, I wish I wouldn't have worked so much. I wish I wouldn't have done this. I wish I would have done that. Did he ever display any of that in the marriage because he was a quadriplegic?
Not, he didn't express regrets.
Hmm.
However, he was not what I would consider like super emotionally intelligent.
Mm.
You know how to talk about emotionally intelligent men and they
Yeah,
know
yeah,
how they feel
yeah,
and they express. No, I definitely had challenges for him. Ooh, y'all want to get to it, right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely had challenges with him where I would want him to express more, or how are you feeling about this? And you know how men are just like, I'm good, I'm straight, it's whatever.
yeah.
And you guys have a definition for that. That is
Hmm.
a real actual thing. Like when you say I'm straight, it means you're processing something, you're aware of something, but you're in the middle of the road, so it's okay. It's not pulling you off your pathway to be a provider, to be caring the way you define caring. And so he never he never expressed to me just in regular conversation what he was having difficulty with. If
Yeah,
there was something big, I would know. Like if his son's mom did something that was just like, we would know that. You know, when you have a clearly identifiable source of irritation that gets you to a nine, then of course
yeah,
I know that because Mama Bear coming out by then, I'm flexing my chest real big, what we need to do. You know, that is happening as well. But
yeah,
I didn't know what his real challenges were. And this is
yeah,
also a man who was working on a master's degree. We
yeah.
in
Wow.
California, we traveled, we cruised. So there wasn't like, oh, we can't do anything. No, we went. We did more than people do with fully able bodies.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh,
So that was the thing too. We weren't capped by the injury, you know?
yeah. I wanna touch on that, but first I want to ask, did you guys, so you kind of hinted at it. Did you guys have arguments?
Ooh. The biggest argument we had, two. I can remember two. When we were first married and I wasn't like a big cooking person.
Hmm.
And so cooking food for me, look, my mama in here somewhere. My mama in these comments somewhere. My mama didn't cook like that, right? So I wanted to cook, a specific kind of way, and so it took takes planning for me. Still, I want to know what I'm making. I need to almost perseverate over the meal and know
Yeah,
what it
right,
is, what I
right.
need, what ingredients I need because I'm focused. I want the recipe, yada yada yada. So it really took a lot for me to prepare food, but I wanted to cook food. But I'm like, you got to meet me in the middle. Like, order some groceries, pick a recipe, like do something. That was a big thing. And then we went through IVF. The year that he passed, we had a failed IVF cycle. We were trying to have a baby.
Oh, wow.
And honestly, that's really where my grief journey started at.
Really?
Yeah, that is really where I started to see myself. Ooh, here
Yeah,
you go. Y'all ready for
yeah,
this one?
yeah.
I Somebody had to be at fault when the IVF cycle didn't work.
Hmm.
And I've always had this like debriefing type of brain. Like, okay, what went wrong? What needs to be different? Like, there's a reason why it did not work. And
Hmm.
so I pointed at him like it was his fault. I didn't say it's your fault, so and so, but the
Right.
rationale behind it was, well, it's not me. It
Did
was
you
okay.
let
So
him know that?
we need to do that, right? Because I am
Yeah,
trying to rationalize what we did not do wrong. I mean, what we did
yeah,
not do correctly, so we can correct it. But you can't fix anything that you haven't identified was the source of the problem. So I made his challenges the source of the problem, and I remember his eyes. Never forget it.
yeah. That had to
Never,
hurt.
never forget it.
Yeah, that had to hurt. You said I'm open. Like that's, man, that's big of you to, you know what? Here's the thing. People would probably make you feel bad for saying that. And after being in a marriage for 20 years, if you told me that you did not tell him how you felt, I probably would be like, you should have told him.
Oh,
Yeah, because though, I mean, because you have to, in a marriage you have to be open, and if that's how you felt, whether you were right or wrong, it was good that you told him. What was his reaction? Did he react verbally, or was it just a?
no, he he responded like, "So you saying it's my fault?" Like he definitely said that,
Yeah.
but I think in that moment, I'm finna cry. Here you go.
Yeah.
He knew that I did not have the skill to cope with that loss.
Yeah.
Like a failed IVF cycle. Here we go. That is a grief journey. I lost the babies I wanted to have with him.
Yeah.
That opportunity is gone. I can't get it back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I believe that he heard what was said behind it, and he
Yeah.
knew she don't know how to process it.
Wow.
So even though I'm disappointed that that was my response,
Mm.
that taught me such a big lesson. Even before having to grieve him, it showed me you don't have coping skills.
Mm.
You don't know how to grieve properly. You're trying to find something to be at fault so you can fix it so you don't have to process it. That's grief. That's ineffective grieving.
Yeah. You about to get me now. Now clean it up. I'll be crying sometimes. You, you about to you about to get me.
It's all right.
Uh,
We cried. We cried over here.
did you ever feel self-righteous uh, because you were taking care of him, which enabled you to say what you had to say or say how you felt about that situation?
Oh no.
No.
I've never I've never felt I never felt self righteous. Like, oh, I do one, two, and three. I'm a servant.
Yeah.
I was a nurse. I took care of people who were paralyzed anyway before I met him. That was what I did. When I was a little kid, I wanted to take care of all the other babies. I've been
Mm.
serving my whole like look, my whole community in these comments right here. I show up, I'm serving, I'm giving, I'm coaching, I'm giving tips, I'm letting you know how to scale your business, how to plan your event, how to launch your stuff because it is my heart to serve. Jesus was a servant. He came to serve, right?
And we could talk about it all day. But we can talk about it, but you were doing it. We know what we're supposed to do,
Mhm.
but you acted on it, and that's a whole different vibe. That's every day. You know, when you explained to me, he was a quadriplegic. He was paralyzed from the neck down. How did he get dressed? Who made his food? Who bathed him? Got him up? Did everything for him? Uh, and I guess that's when I asked you, did you ever feel, kind of slighted, like because man, I just want a hug.
Mm,
Did you ever feel that?
I definitely felt that.
Ah.
I definitely, I definitely felt that. Even though he had a good, strong one arm hug,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely was like, two arms would be great. Like,
Yeah.
no, so we found there was not a thing that we could not do. There was just it was an abbreviated version of life,
Okay.
you know. Um, but I missed those things. I will say this, and I have to shout out my my brother-in-laws and caregivers. And so when my husband and I got married, he already had two caregivers,
Mm.
right? So I thank God. One of the things that made my transition into wifehood with him was the fact that there was already a team functioning. There was a system that made sure he was washed and bathed and dressed and fed and all of these different things. So I did not come in and assume all responsibility. But and I will tell you, they had to get some people together because some people assumed because I was present that they no longer needed to function in their roles. And he had
Ah.
to have some come to Jesus's with folks. Like, no, she not
Yeah.
here to be that. She is my wife. I'm not. You get paid to do a job. You
Yeah.
still have a job, and I still had my 9 to 5 job. So he had
Right.
to correct some people, and that made me feel safe because he fought for what I needed, which was my own space. Now there
Yeah.
were I was on duty for the weekend. Y'all come up, y'all get them dressed, get them situated. We out for the day. I'm handling everything. I'm handling meals wherever we going. I got to go to bed routine. So my weekends were caregiver and wife. But I
Yeah.
will say that we had an amazing, his caregiver who was taking care of him when he passed away was amazing. I'm so grateful. I think God sent her. I
Yeah.
think God sent her to
Mm.
make sure that he was cared for with excellence and grace in his
Yeah.
last years because she was so phenomenal. Shout out to my brothers Jared and Kamani, who were his caregivers over time as well.
Man, shout out to them. And they probably, I'm assuming that they probably made you guys' marriage better. Uh, my house got, let me see, how do I run this down? Because I'm going someplace. Uh, I went to church probably 2, 3 days out of the week. My kids were homeschooled. Somebody shot at my house. They shot at my house. The person that you see before you did not exist. Well, he existed in my mind and in my heart,
Mhm.
but not in physically. Uh, when we talked on the phone, I feel like that's kind of what happened to you after your husband passed. Uh, who is this person now? Were you this person before? Uh, Now we get into like the grief after he passed. What happened?
Oh man, I was angry. I didn't know I was angry. It took a while for me to figure out that I was angry, right? You have the denial, the anger, the bargaining, the depression, and then the acceptance. Like those are the traditional stages of grief. But what happened for me was that catalyst into the wellness work. I honestly had to discover who I was. And so in that journey, I had a grief coach. I'm so grateful for her. And then I finally moved into therapy. But in that grief planning and with that grief coach, she strongly encouraged me to start journaling, right? And so, where are we? I have journals literally everywhere now. I have like a Grace for This journal brand in my community, and we do the journaling. Look, I got one right here on Amazon, right? Like they stay close to me, but I will say that I begin to finally write and express. And the first thing I expressed was actually anger. The first thing
Yeah.
I expressed was anger, but I went through the process. And so one of the things that I'm passionate about doing is one, helping you grow through grief, archive your healing journey, and then build what helped you heal. Because that is what my experience was. When I sat and processed and grew through the grief, I journaled and I wrote it out. And then I identified it was a pathway that I walked through inside of that journey. And so I was able to build something because I archived the journey. And I give it to you in letters. So GRACE. It's a model: grieve, rest, aid, community, and evolve. When I leaned into doing the grief and being honest with where I was, it was exhausting. And so I moved into rest. I had to learn how to rest and choose the rest. And rest is clarifying. And so rest also helps you identify what you don't have capacity for anymore. And you're going to have to learn how to ask for help. And so, how do you ask for help? You ask according to where your deficits are, because your capacity has changed, and you learned that coming out of your time of rest, right? But once you begin to ask for help, who responds to your ask? That is who your community is. The people who are your community see where you are, they understand what you're asking, and they respond to it in a way that provides support for you. And when you go through that grace journey, you evolve to the next best version of yourself. So if you lean into the grief and go through your grace journey, you will become, can't say it. You will evolve and become the next best version um, of yourself. And so that was what happened to me. I evolved into the next best version of myself, which is a aware, still caring, still loving, but very honest. I don't have capacity for it. It's a no for me. Type of person who is helping other people of faith walk through their grace journey and become the next best version of themselves.
You, as terrible as this might sound, I'll use myself again. I kind of segued into that question by telling you that my house got shot at. uh, that's a whole nother. That's first episode stuff. So I don't want to take over, but
No,
uh,
we can sit with it. Let's sit with it though.
it absolutely had to happen.
Mm.
Uh, this had to happen. This had to happen. And as you spoke to me, I could, that's kind of what I got out of it. Was as terrible as it is, as much as you didn't want it to happen, it had to happen. And how do you were you ever angry at God? Uh,
Hmm. Oh, was I angry? I was angry. I was angry at the scenario. Angry at God, frustrated with the grace for men. Grace is for men too. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I wrote it down. I was like, all right, I'm gonna bookmark that.
Angry. Um, that question is really tricky for me
Okay.
because I was more than angry.
Mm,
I was disappointed. I had to decide whether like or not I even wanted to trust God around relationships and men and expectations. Like I'll just work and serve other people. That's
mm,
fine. Like let's not even deal with the relationship thing again. Like you keep snatching people up from me. Ah, what am I really doing here? I thought about it from the perspective of return on investment.
mm,
I had a 5 year relationship with my high school sweetheart. We dated the whole undergrad experience while I was in undergrad. Shout out to Hampton University. Let's go
yeah.
Pirates. HBCU red. Period. Blue and white. Um, Relationship ended abruptly. We were engaged. We dated for 5 years, right? And so there's a five. I knew my husband for 5 years when we got married. We were married for 5 years, and then he passed. And so I'm seeing this cycle of the fives, right? And I begin to question what type of grace was attached to my life. Is it a good type of grace? Is it grace to deal with hard things? Am I grace to have abrupt endings to things and rise from the ashes like the phoenix? Like what are we doing here? What kind of story am I supposed to be having? So anger, yes, angry with God. I want my return on my investment.
Yeah. Do you think you're getting it now?
Ooh, that's such a good question because my brain, this is good. You just challenged my thinking because when I think of return on investment for this, I'm thinking about the relationship that meets my expectations, that
Mm,
exceeds my expectations. I'm thinking about the person who's gonna wrap their arms around me and be those arms forever. When I think
mm,
of return on investment, I'm thinking about relationship. But when I look at, come on, I'm feeling preachy. When I look at what has been produced from the seed of my husband going in the ground, from the seed of me grieving and going through the work and what it's producing and how it is impacting the lives of men and women who cross my paths, it is more than worth.
that
More than worth it.
that because the glow that I saw it came from tragedy. It's the yeah. I think like you said, you were looking at it as return on investment for a relationship. I was mad at you because
Because I
I was
want my
mad.
man. My man,
Huh?
my man, my man.
Well, no, I was mad at you because you don't have a job. I have a job. And out of this birth entrepreneurship, it birthed all those links, y'all, that I dropped in the comments. I made sure to pin those links. You are now an author. You own your own business. Uh, all of which you weren't really doing before, right?
No,
Yeah.
no, no,
Yeah.
not not to the
Yeah.
extent. But I will tell you this though.
Mhm.
Don't be mad.
No.
Don't be mad because the grief. So we do a 21-day challenge, right? So my book
Okay.
is a 21-day journey for women
Hmm.
growing through grief. Yes, the
Yes.
brotherhood can go through it. Don't worry. I got some folk. We gonna get a manly version of it. Don't worry. We got grace and grit. I don't have anything around me, but we have grace and grit too. We've got branches of grace for this, and we got some for the guys. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Got a whole gang of episodes on my YouTube channel with the men. Like check them out.
Okay.
But to be honest with you, I don't work a traditional job. And when we did our 21-day challenge, this cohort, we just did a second class. I had
Uh-huh.
to grieve. I had to grieve not having the security of my good VA was finna be at six-figure job.
Yeah.
That is the type of security that I was
Yeah.
accustomed to. I remember now, you know, lost your husband who was a service connected, 100% service connected veteran. So you bringing in six figures right there alone from him being a Marine. My husband was a Marine,
Okay.
Semper Fi, right?
Hey.
And you got me in my job, right? And so I've had things that have he left abruptly. His income left abruptly. And then I transitioned off of my job to build the thing that God was purposing me to build, right?
Yeah.
So I ain't necessarily comfortable yet.
Yeah. Yeah. But you have the audacity to step out there. Y'all, I'm about to drop a link for Kenitra's journal right now. This is the Amazon link, and I think I pinned it to the top before, but hey, if I didn't, there you go. Y'all go to Amazon, man, and check that out right now. Go and grab that. Go and support her in her entrepreneurial journey. That right there. Oh, you got two. So that was will that link take them to the other take them to the book, the
Mhm.
devotional.
Well, you know how Amazon is. If you go look for this, it's gonna recommend. It says everybody buys these two things together. You'll see both.
Shout out to Amazon. And it's Prime
Mhm.
Day. Y'all go check that
It
out.
is.
Yeah. Today and tomorrow is Prime Day. Get the journal and the book.
I
Thank
need
you,
to buy.
Alexandra.
Oh,
Y'all get the
hey,
journal and the book.
grab that.
Meanwhile, in the background, John over here preaching. If you a man, uh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
man, like listen to what she's saying. One thing that hit me, women always like, I don't even know how to put it. Men know, like, if it takes a woman a week to go and seek therapy, like after some type of tragedy has happened, it's gonna take a man 12 weeks. he go, he gonna fight himself. He might have a couple buddies that tell him not to go do it.
Mhm.
One thing that hit me is you said you got a grief coach. How long did it take you to do that? How were you even mentally prepared to even know that you needed a grief coach? How long? What day one after the death of your husband? Where are you at?
Strong friend.
Yeah,
Strong friend. I was a strong friend who knew this is not time for you to be the strong friend, right?
yeah,
So my girlfriends definitely encouraged me. You know, my girlfriends are nurses too, so we know what's up. My I worked in the healthcare field, so we know what we need. I knew what I needed.
right.
First thing I did in my mind was commit to Kenitra. You're not gonna be the strong friend. This ain't the time for you to be the strong friend, sis. This ain't the moment. Your husband died, baby. You're not
Yeah,
gonna be okay, regardless of what you tell yourself or how much you coach yourself. You're not going to be okay if you don't give yourself the support you need. You won't be okay. You will not be okay. So yes, grace and grit, boo. Um, so I was open to talking with somebody, and so one of the psychologists, social worker, excuse me, who worked at the VA. I actually connected with her. We actually worked in the same space, but we never crossed paths.
yeah. Wow.
How in the world? So somebody who had a level of familiarity with me, you understand spinal cord injury, you understand disease process, you know who I am and what I do. Read. Right. So it was just a really beautiful thing. And so instead of doing like a formal like therapy and psychotherapy, there's levels to that thing. She said,
Mhm.
when you need me, you call me, let's set up something. And she was so loving and gracious. And so even though I was not fully there, she created a space for me to know I can talk to somebody who wasn't necessarily in my immediate peer group.
Yeah.
And it helped to acclimate me to having conversations with somebody about how I was feeling. And it took some time. It took some time for me to get to a place of choosing the vulnerability or even like acknowledging the emotions.
Yeah.
It really took time because you have to knock down the walls. Nobody else can knock down your walls. You have to choose to bust out a brick.
Yeah.
You have to do that. And
Yeah.
so she got me prepared for it, and then I transitioned from the grief coaching into like a formal therapy type. But I had
Uh,
to make up my mind that you the strong friend, but not on this sis.
yeah. Did you know one thing that I noticed is I'm a helper. I like to help people. Liked ed to help people. I still do. I'm just now kind of getting back at it. Uh, and I'm kind of meshing this with me telling you that just like my house being shot at, this had to happen. You know what I mean? Because
Are we
like,
gonna talk about it though?
no, I mean, no, because I don't
What
want.
they shot your house for?
I
And then
don't.
who did you become after that?
Who did I become? I realized my eyes opened to people, and I was Mr. Benefit of the Doubt before, and my eyes just kind of opened to people, and I'm Mr. It is what it is. And so and it's still like I still get a pit in my stomach when I tell people this because like it almost feels like I'm lying. All these years later, I still don't know why it happened. I have an idea why it happened, but it had to happen. However, and that's the only thing I could take to. It's a whole story behind it. I don't want to take away from you, but it's a whole story behind how it happened. I think that he was going next door. Nobody was in the house. Nobody died. Nobody was hit. My kids were in the house at first, and they got out of the house, and everybody's fine. But it was devastating because I was in charge of security, in my house. I was supposed to be the one taking care of everybody, and man, I had a long list of emotions that I'm still kind of working my way through. But it had to happen. It had to happen. And so God gives us these gifts, I think, and sometimes we take them and we run away with them. We take them too far. And from helper to helper, who helps the helper? When do we even know when it's time to be helped? How do we even receive help? You sound like you was ready to be a support to who? You lost your husband. Like who are you about to support? Like we don't even know how to accept that. And it was
Yeah.
weird for me to say like I'm not okay. And I'll still say it sometimes. I'm getting better, but I mean, out of that roll down from it was a variety of different things, tragedy after tragedy that happened to get me to where I am. And now I think it was God molding the clay and saying this, not this, breaking it and putting it back on there,
Mm.
and add some water, molding it again, and then you run away with it, breaking it again, and saying not this, and it's uh, yeah, like I said, I hate to say it, but it had to happen. It sounded like you were over helping. I was helping everybody, and then I started to fail at helping.
Mm. You like deep breaths in the comments. That is so godly, yo. Come on, read. Now you officially read, right? Your friend that came in here and put up.
Yeah.
So I want to honor that vulnerability from that person shooting into your house. They stole something from you.
Mm,
They stole from you the feeling of being the protector, from being the Superman over that house, because you couldn't stop that thing, but you still feel the responsibility of protecting your home and your family. Like they
yeah.
took something from you.
Yeah.
You couldn't jump in front of the bullets. You couldn't find that person, or whatever. And so that
Yeah.
is a type of grief. You have to grieve the fact that that happened and it has now impacted like how you see yourself. Like, of course, you're no less of a person, but you feel like I couldn't save them, or I couldn't protect them, or what would have happened if a bullet had caught one of my babies. Like, what in the world? You have, like you run through those scenarios in your head when
Mm,
somebody betrays you or your space like that. It is very intrusive. It's intrusive to your psyche because you
mm,
process that over and over and over. and you get
Yeah.
to a place, that's a stolen sense of safety protection. And that's our therapist. That's our GF. We have a therapist in our community. She is our
Okay.
therapist. Monkey
Oh,
Frank.
thank
Shout
you.
out to her.
Okay. Okay.
Always know.
Free therapy session on deck.
Right?
Okay.
And we do that. We
Yeah.
do it inside of our community. We do with our 21
Wonderful.
day challenge. We
Yeah.
do. But that is real. And then you see him holding my face because I feel you.
Yeah.
That's something to sit with. That's like you can have PTSD from knowing that your home was under attack and you couldn't protect it because
Yeah.
you resisted it. It's traumatic.
Yeah.
It's a traumatic experience.
Yeah. It was traumatic, but I mean it was so many, I don't want to say losses. It was so many traumatic experience after that. As you talk, I'm sitting here thinking about something that just happened, and I had a homie at work, Amanda, and she did drugs. She did a lot of drugs, and I went from trying to, I didn't want her to lose her job, so I'm a boss, so trying to protect her and hide it, and then it's like everybody see it anyway. She's I can't hide this. To just kind of losing hope and kind of losing touch, still thinking about her. She passed away this past weekend. And it's man, I just told somebody at work today, like, I I don't know how to process this. Like I said, I'm not processing it right now, but as you talk now, the process is starting to happen. Like again, that was I feel man, it's almost like I failed to help again. You know what I mean? This is not my therapy session. This
But
is not.
it's honest. It, and we're talking about grief. And you know what? You
Yeah.
got a real time grieving journey that just started for you.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
I don't think it's by accident that she transitioned when she did, and
Yeah.
that you had the type of proximity that you had to her
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
were investing in her.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah.
investing in her.
Yeah.
And your return on investment, and this is something my therapist that talks to me about on a fairly regular basis, is we don't get to choose where our return comes from.
Yeah.
We don't get to choose where
We
our
don't.
return where
We
where
don't.
it comes from. But when you put seed into to the ground, you have to trust God for your harvest, and it's
Yeah.
God's responsibility to do that. I feel like you getting harvest right now.
Yeah, I
You
am. And
see
I've,
something.
uh, I think I kind of ran down to you how I started this podcast, and through marriage going bad, divorce, like I told you, house, kids, all of that, man, job situations. Man, I could run down a whole full list. I have met some of the most amazing people, including you. And man, it's like a new journey every day with people that I get to meet, and people that help me heal as I go through this life. And I tell you what, the people that I've met, uh, they provide me healing. These great people that God has placed in my life, and if that's the healing, then I'll take the hurt. That's the way I feel about
Oh, that's
it.
good. Somebody write that in the comments. Ooh.
Grace and grit. Tell us about it,
All
because the people
right,
want to.
totally right. So okay, interesting story. Now I'm just kind of thinking through like which way to tell the story. So interesting story. There would be no grace if there were not any grit, right? So my husband was also a pastor at our church, and he was like rebranding and relaunching a men's ministry, and the name of it was True Grit, right? And so
Yeah.
my husband was studying for his master's in divinity, and he was doing a YouTube channel. He was in the process of doing all of the things, right? And he passed away. He transitioned, and so like I have a basement in my home, and he had redone the space. We had the studio equipment. We got microphones. We had all of the things. And what he did was he vision casted. I knew how to set up lights, equipment. I have things in my space now that equipped me for this, right? And so these are the byproducts of my husband's grit. to build something for other people who had disabilities. That's what who his target audience was, and for men um, to um, to have better men, better fathers, better families, better men, better fathers, better families. That's what his focus was, and so there would be no grace if it was not for his grit, because what he pushed into every single day has made the room for me to do this particular thing, because he lived in such an amazing way. It definitely has been a push for me to build something beautiful, because that was what his heart was, and God equipped me with everything that I needed. I have not experienced any toil around this part of sharing my journey, because everything I need was already here, because the grit started before there was the grace. And so I've learned what I'm graced for. And so now with the grace and the grit, look, John Mason is a GFT ambassador, right? He's a part of our team. And so he always showed up. He's my favorite disruptor. He's a perfect antagonist, right? So it's perfect, because we are realizing that the men need to have this conversation too.
Yeah.
Men are grieving too. It's not exclusive to a particular gender or sex. And we want to make room to have the conversation for the men folk. We understand that our presentation of it's got to be different. The aesthetics of it's got to be different. How you have the conversation has got to be different. And so what we are doing now is building out a branch of grace for this that's talking about the wellness, but it is packaged for the men. So we
Yeah.
did a series in March called Grace and Grit. We did a Wellness Work Summit in March, which we want to do it quarterly. Every quarter we want to do a summit, but we themed it Grace and Grit, and we had a men's panel of men who are leaders or in wellness to come and talk vulnerably about what their experiences have been around wellness and challenges and community and your upbringing and what people did and PTSD and who said what and how it affected you. Like a safe place for men to have the hard conversations around wellness, wrongness, and relationships. That's what I call it.
Come
Wellness,
on now.
wrongness, and relationships. I promise you, I got some things coming. So, Grace and Grit is going to be a space where the men can show up and be supported by women. That's
Hey.
the thing too, because women
Yeah.
have not been safe places for men, and so then
Nah, man.
you get the
That's
men
her
who gonna
talking.
persist over here dogging them out, like, girl, what you
Yeah.
doing,
Yeah.
chick? No, don't
Yeah.
do that. Right.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of what's coming with Grace. It's a lot coming. We got lots of
Yeah.
content. We just need to get it together and get it out, because it's gonna go
I,
out.
I just dropped the www.graceforthis.net. If they want to get that training that you provide, that's where they go for it?
Yeah. So what you would do is you go to graceforthis.net and you hit a start your journey button there. There's a
Okay.
start your journey button there, and it introduces you to who I am and what we are talking about. I will also say, especially for my guy folks, I would say go on the YouTube channel and just scroll down. Actually, there's a Grace and Grit playlist, and it's black and pink. It's very obvious that there's a contrast between him and her. It's very obvious, and you can really tap in for those conversations and start to engage with us there. And I will say this too, Dr. Mason, you fired if you're still there. You got to remind me. Um, we're working on having conversations that are just for the guys. And I would love for your folks to give us feedback on this. Y'all let us know. We did a thing in March where we did like an after party in Clubhouse, because we wanted people to be able to come in, talk about what happened in the episode, and carry the conversation over. And so for the month of March, we did an after party episode for the men inside of a Clubhouse room, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was an amazing, safe place. So if y'all are interested in that, or want to contribute to that conversation, we would love to know more, because we're getting ready to build that out.
Yeah.
Just finding the easiest way for you to tap in, no cameras on. You
Yeah.
can be in the room. You ain't got to come to the stage, but being able to listen and contribute with just a click of a button. Like the
Yeah.
easiest thing we got right now is something like Clubhouse, because otherwise you got to do a Zoom and da 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 da. So we're
Yeah.
we're digging into that, and we're gonna be intentional about creating the space for the men at least once a month.
That's dope. I'm one that I find it easy to share my emotions because I don't care. I don't like it's I don't the my thing is, man, if anybody try to shame me for how I feel or for my emotions, I work a manly job. I'm harder than all of y'all. So
I work construction. You're not gonna play
so
me.
So you can, so I can say what I want, and I can cry if I want to, and I can tell you how I feel. I like to, I don't like to not know why I feel a certain way. So I think about why I feel a certain way, and then I also weigh out whether I need to display those emotions or share them or keep them to myself because it ain't your fault.
That's
That's
that
the,
work right there. Hold
yeah.
on, pause. Let's sit with that. Y'all heard what he just said? That is complex processing. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling it? Do I want to display the emotions? Are you a safe place are you a safe place for me to express the emotions? Do I even care around you? I'll do it later. Like
Yeah.
in your head.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah.
That's good work,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I just look at it as, I mean, I always want to be able to, I think in my marriage, I started over explaining,
Mm.
just so I can be heard and I could be, I want it to be understood. And think, I don't think I was understood, but that's neither here nor there. I learned a valuable,
That's a
I got a,
residual that's a residual effect of being misunderstood, over explaining.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. I weighed that out. I was like, why do I do this to myself? Because I see people like, I'll tell you the same thing 5 different ways.
Yep. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
tired from talking. Look.
yeah, right, right. Just because I want to, and then people will still walk away and misunderstand you and tell you what you said and what you did. But now I'm in a new place. I don't even care no more. Like if you, whatever, man. Uh, where was I going? I do this every episode. Oh, I was about to tell fellas, guys, please, man, you might not be where I'm at because maybe you didn't take my journey. But look, man, don't be sitting in your hurt. Don't sit.
Ooh,
Where's my camera at?
that's good.
Don't sit in your hurt and your pain and carry it out on other folks and carry it out on your kids and your woman. Go and get help, man. You have a resource right here. Y'all go to that website. I dropped it. Did I pin it in the chat? I'm about to pin it right now. Uh, y'all go to that website, man, if you need help and you just need to talk. Go to therapy. go
Yeah.
to go seek out a therapist. I think more and more guys are, especially during the pandemic. You know, you got to hide in your house
Mm.
and do therapy and not tell nobody about it. So I think I see more. I think I see more and more guys doing it. But man, self
Choosing
care, man,
therapy is
fellas.
choosing yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
It
self
is.
care. Uh, where is your journey taking you now? Grace for Grit podcast coming
Ooh.
soon.
Ooh. Ooh.
Grace to Grit.
Yes, actually. I actually that is it's on the list. I have a brother who's amazing. We've been squad since like 2008. And he was the person who kind of helped me carry some things in my journey. And he's a serial podcaster. He's been podcasting for years. So shout out to Darius J. I don't know where he
Shout
is.
out
I
to
think
Darius
he might
J.
be chilling. He might be chilling. Right. Look, he's processing a grief journey right now. One of the sisters passed away. So actively grieve. It's a lot of us who are actively grieving right now.
Wow.
But I have no questions about the timing of God. I believe it's going to really impact how we're able to talk about the wellness work inside of the Grace and Grit podcast. So that is something that is coming. You called it out. You
Yeah.
called it out. You called it out. So that
Grace to
is
Grit podcast. I want to be on it.
that is. Oh my gosh, I would love that. I would love that. Look, because you on here, you telling the truth, and it's a process.
Yeah.
It takes time to get there. You talked about brokenness. Let's circle back real quick, and I'm gonna tell y'all what I'm doing. Right,
Yeah.
you hit it on the head when you said brokenness, and you were talking about the jars, and how God shapes and molds us. And sometimes we get when you get too far away from the potter and him shaping and applying that water to you and keeping you malleable, you get rigid, you go over somewhere, you fall and you break yourself, and then you got to run back to the potter. Like, you really hit it on the head. We experience things in our lives, difficult transitions that break us.
Yeah.
They break us in a very specific kind of way, and it is productive. I talked about it on our last Wednesday episode. We do a wellness work Wednesday every Wednesday, and I talked about grief being productive. We don't want to look at it that way, But a grieving experience is productive when you choose to grow through the grieving process. So you are absolutely right about that brokenness, and it'll produce something. And to answer your question, you said, where am I going? What's going on? So grieving, healing, and building in community. That's really what the bigger picture is: grieving, healing, and building in community. When you go through your grace journey and you go grow through your grief and you archive it, you're going to identify a very specific pathway or journey that you've been through, and you're going to be equipped to help somebody else get there. But after
Yeah,
you've identified that pathway, then you have to build the thing, right? And so I'm called to builders. I'm called to builders who don't know what they're building yet, or they don't know how to put their brand in what they're building because they haven't grieved yet.
yeah,
So I'm helping people to move from grief to grace. I'm helping builders arise from being grieved to grace, because grief will invite you to choose the grave for yourself prematurely, and we have to choose not to follow that pathway. Right? We have to reject the invitation of the grave to choose it over evolving into that version of ourselves that can help somebody else, because we built what helped us heal. But you got to
yeah.
heal first, because if you choose
Ooh,
to sit in your brokenness, you
mm,
can't build effectively because you didn't grieve well. So I'm
yeah,
helping us grieve, heal, and build in community.
yeah. Everybody want to rush to healing. I was,
Man, bye. And miss the whole point.
yeah, right. That's the whole point. Everybody
Don't
want to rush.
forfeit.
Yeah,
Don't forfeit the byproduct of your journey because you tried to skip steps.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
producing something very specific.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's I'm okay being broken. You know what I mean? I'm okay, but a
Mhm.
lot of people, I ain't gonna say that.
Say it, and say it with your chest.
No, yeah, no, I ain't gonna say it because I ain't trying to rattle no feathers. I'm not. What did you say? John was? You said he was
A professional disruptor and agitator.
I'm not that.
You got that.
I'm not that. And what I'm
Well,
about to
send
say
it to
is
him
like,
later and let
yeah,
him say it and tag you on it. Like, what you think about this, Reed? Yeah, dude.
I just yeah, I ain't go. I was about to say something about my marriage. I'm still healing. Hey y'all, man, what you have been absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much. I'm about to steal the spotlight real quick because shout out to Ambitions Entertainment. I won a podcasting award. Let me highlight myself. Hey man, shout out to Miss Diva and the New Ambitious Entertainment. I got an award for Global Impact Award, VNO Podcast, Hybrid Radio Podcast winner of 2024. Man, I didn't even go to the award show because I was working. Because I was working, man. But I just want to shout out Ambitious Entertainment. Thank you so much for recognizing me. This is my first podcast in the world. Hopefully, it's not the last. Hopefully, I can do better at this thing and not get caught up and just just do my thing. But shout out for the award. I don't like to take too much time for myself, man, but I got to because so many people, man, work so hard. There's a couple people that got these awards. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Miss Diva. Thank you, Ambitions. This is my acceptance speech since I wasn't there to accept. Shout out to my cousin, Life Coach Jeff. Shout out to the Vibe Studios. Vibe Studios consisting of me, Life Coach Jeff, Smooch Wallace, and Selena K, Miss Mary. Y'all can catch us, man. If you go to the Vibe Studios page on Facebook, we have developed a collaborative and we all have shows and radio shows. And Smooch is a singer. Smooch has a single out right now called "No Rush." Go to Spotify, any major streaming platform, and you can find "No Rush." Look up "Bad Producer Bad," BADD. No Rush, and you will find Smooch Wallace, Bad featuring Smooch Wallace, No Rush. It's a cold song, man. If y'all like a 90s vibe, go and check them out. You can also use them on your reels. I think I dropped that in the podcast summit chat. But you can use the song on your reels. Man, let's crank my man up because he is a talented singer. He's a talented comedian. If ever you see my everything that I share on Facebook is not me sharing. We share a Facebook, me and Smooch, and he's a comedian, and sometimes he can be. So it's not me sharing it. Everything that you see on my Facebook page is not me. It might be a little bit of Smooch, but shout out to man all my peoples over at Vibe Studio. Y'all check us out, man. Vibe Studio. We are getting the Facebook, the YouTube page together. Now enough about me. Thank you so much. I'm about to play this video again so people can they can also see your social media, uh, see the books that you have. I dropped all the links. I was supposed to do an affiliate link. I didn't do that, but
We
I
gonna
want
learn.
people to know exactly who you are, and I want you to be supported because you are out here supporting people. Y'all check this out. Y'all, shout out to Miss Kenitra Mozelle. Am I pronouncing your first name right? I guess it's kind of late to ask
That's
that.
it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I have every episode I grow a little bit, but I've grown so much from this. I've gotten so much from this. Let me know when you fully drop the Grace and Grit for Men. I'm joining. I
Got
probably need to talk about some things. I need to find me a therapist while I'm telling everybody else I had a therapist. Y'all, we had the therapist come in and she just told me some things about myself, and I was just like, oh,
hurt,
oh,
wounded.
all right. I was not all the way ready. But
Yeah.
thank you so much, man. Y'all, shout out to Miss Kenitra. Y'all going to support her. Go back through that chat, man. Like I said, I highlighted your books, your website. Y'all go check out our website. If you have lost somebody, if you have, or if you are experiencing any type of grief in your life, here's help right here. This way.
Look, go, go tap in. We have video, we have support. I actually do have a 21-day series that matches my book. So when you go to my YouTube channel, you go to the playlist and it's a 21-day journey there for you. You can start with day one. Don't wait. You can start tonight.
Yes, yes. Start tonight. Start tonight. Maybe I need to go on there tonight.
Yeah, yeah, just have your tissue. That's your
Right.
disclaimer. Get your tissue.
Right. I got to give a huge shout out before we get out of here to my baby girl. I'm taking off work tomorrow. She's not my baby girl. She's actually my oldest girl, not my oldest child, but my oldest girl. She turns 21 tomorrow, and we are going to Six Flags Great America. Uh, shout
But
out to my
you
baby
only look
Haley.
28 though.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
wow.
Thank, thank you. Thank you. We it don't crack. We
I'm
both look good.
confused. So confused by this. I don't understand.
Yes, my baby will be 21 tomorrow. And she wanted to go to Six Flags with me. Like I'm
Yay.
so excited,
That's a
man.
daddy win.
Right.
Daddy win.
I love you, Haley. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much. I can't wait to go tomorrow. I'm happy to be off of work and I'm happy to be with you. Y'all, VNO, man, what you know, we are ordinary people with extraordinary stories. Yeah.
But have you ever thought, what if this is all just a dream? And we're just waiting in line to wake up? And most people think I'm insane. Once you realize that all the shit you used to care so much about just keeps you a prisoner of your own mind.